I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they had known that they were slaves. How many of you have heard this before? How many of you have seen this circulating around the internet on social media memes? You may have expected me to say that these are the words of none other than Harriet Tubman. But how many of you know that that's not historically true? Hi, my name is Stacey Newson, and my pet peeve, social media memes with false Black history on them. I studied African American Studies at Chicago State University. I've written and published 2 historical fiction novels, and every week on my blog I host a Black History Fun Fact Friday series. I am confident in my ability to deliver the truth about memes with false historical data. Internet, social media memes is a favorite pastime for many. Some of them are funny, some of them are educational, but unfortunately, not all of them are truthful. In 1958, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was stabbed at his first book signing in Harlem, New York. After the stabbing, he was taken to a hospital where he had emergency surgery. He almost died from the he almost died from the stabbing. So he had to have emergency surgery. He was stabbed with the steel letter opener. After the surgery, a picture was taken to him that would become famous and circulated around the internet. The picture is of King laying in a hospital bed, and there's a young man in the room with him. Later, that picture will be turned into a meme. The text on the meme of this picture would state that after King was shot at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee in 1968, he was taken to the hospital where he was still alive. And while being still alive, someone in the room smothered him with a pillow. There is no historical documents that proves that this was true. Even if King was still alive when he arrived at the hospital, the picture attached to this meme is inaccurate. It shows a false image of the times. King was shot in 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee. This picture is of King in 1958, 10 whole years earlier, in Harlem, New York, after he was stabbed. This can be further verified through listening to Martin Luther King Jr.'s I've Been to the Mountaintop speech. His last speech, the one he gave one day before he died, April 3rd, 1968. In the speech, he references the stabbing. Now, because of the way that he was stabbed, if King had sneezed, he could have died. So he references that in the speech by saying, and I quote, "If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1962 when Negroes in Albany, Georgia decided to straighten their backs up. And whenever men and women straighten their backs up, they are going somewhere, because a man can't ride your back unless it's bent." Martin Luther King Jr., I've Been to the Mountaintop, April 3rd, 1968. To attach this picture to a meme to say that this is him after he was shot and this is him before he was smothered and died in the pillow is presenting a false narrative of actually 2 events that happened in our history. Now for our second point, which is our opening quote. Let's go back to our opening quote where according to social media memes, Harriet Tubman said, "I freed 1,000 slaves and I would have freed 1,000 more if only they knew that they were slaves." Powerful quote, but unfortunately we cannot find a historical basis for it. There's no proof that Tubman actually said these words. Now it is possible that these words are a misquote or a twisting of her original statement from the Women's Suffrage Convention in 1896, where she said, and I quote, "I was a conductor on the Underground Railroad for 8 years, and I can say what most conductors can't say. I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger." In closing, there are a few ways we can protect ourselves by making sure that the memes that we post on social media during Black History Month are true and factual. Number 1, never assume that anything you find on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or blogs is true unless you have verified it by looking at scholarly or peer-reviewed articles. Peer-reviewed means that professionals have reviewed it, they vetted it, and has deemed it worthy of publication. Number 2, you can find such articles by making sure the websites you visit are .edu, .gov, or sites. Number 3, Wikipedia is not a trusted site by itself. Some information on there may be true, but make sure you go ahead and back it up with 2 more trusted resources from those .org and .edu and .gov websites. They're usually links you can click on inside of the Wikipedia article that'll take you to a more trusted source. It's kind of like a backup. So have your 2 to 3 witnesses when you use a Wikipedia to back you up a little bit. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. My name is Stacey Newson, and again, my pet peeve is Black History memes with false information on it.